The following BLTV program is brought to you by O'Flaherty Law. Please enjoy.
Welcome to Learn About Law. My name is Kevin O'Flaherty from O'Flaherty Law, and today we're going to explain how the new tax law impacts Illinois estate planning. Let's first talk about what the new tax law is and how estate tax works. First, estate tax basically is a tax on your assets that you have when you pass away. It's taxed on both the federal and the state level. So it's basically both on the federal and the state level, there's a certain dollar amount of assets that are exempt from estate tax, and the tax only applies to assets over and above this exemption amount. So the Illinois exemption is $4 million. The federal exemption before the new law was $5.5 million. The new law raised it to $11 million. So basically, if on the federal level, everything over and above $11 million is taxable, according to the new law. On the state level, everything above $4 million is taxable. So if you have between $4 million and $11 million in assets in your estate when you pass away, you're going to be taxed on the Illinois level, but not on the federal level. So you're still going to be subject to estate tax, even though you're within the federal exemption, right? So another important thing to understand about how estate tax works is that on the federal level, spouses can take advantage of each other's estate tax exemption. So basically, an $11 million exemption for one person amounts to a $22 million exemption for a married couple. Because if the first spouse passes away without using all of their exemption, that remaining exemption amount passes on to the second spouse, and he or she can add it to his or her own exemption amount. If the first spouse passes away with assets over and above their exemption amount, they can take from the surviving spouse's exemption to apply it to those assets. So really, on the federal level, it's double for spouses, whatever it is for individuals. But it doesn't work that way on the state level, and this is the key to understanding how your estate plan is affected by the new law. On the state level, if you have, let's say, $3 million in assets when you pass away, and the exemption is $4 million, well, the $1 million of wiggle room is wasted. It's your spouse then will still have a $4 million exemption when he or she passes away, even though you didn't use all of your exemption. If you have $5 million when you pass away, you're going to still be taxed on the $1 million over and above the $4 million exemption, even though your spouse has her own $4 million exemption. So it doesn't work the way the federal estate tax does. Spouses can't automatically take advantage of one another's exemptions, and therefore the $4 million exemption for an individual really is $4 million. It's not $8 million for a couple automatically. And so that's why, as estate planners, our first move, the first weapon in our arsenal is to basically use two trusts to allow spouses to take advantage of one another's exemptions. So through a proper estate plan, and it's really easy, it's not expensive, spouses can basically raise their state exemption from $4 million as an individual to $8 million as a couple, and be able to take advantage of each other's estate tax exemption the same way that you would be able to for federal estate tax. So the fact that federal estate tax is doubled, the exemption is doubled, doesn't really impact Illinois estate planning best practices, because you're still nothing has changed on the Illinois level. If you have more than $4 million in assets, including death benefit, including retirement accounts, everything added together, or if you think you're going to approach that, get close to that before you pass away, then it's a really good idea to still do everything we were doing before and basically use trust to take advantage of your spouse's estate tax exemption. And then there's other strategies that we can use that will also basically help on a state level, even if you've got well below, as a married couple, $22 million in assets, but you're somewhere in the neighborhood of $4 million. If we've already done the trust scenario and gotten you to the $8 million exemption as a couple, and you're still worried about estate tax, then we can do things like irrevocable life insurance trusts to take the death benefit of your life insurance policies out of your estate, or something called grits, grats, and groots, which are special trusts that allow assets like businesses and real estate to accumulate in value without the accumulated value over your lifetime being part of your taxable estate. So basically, bottom line is the new tax law will help a lot of people on the federal level with estate tax. But if you were worried about estate tax planning before the new tax law, you should still be worried about it if you live in Illinois, because the Illinois estate tax hasn't changed, and you still need, basically before we were still planning for Illinois estate tax, it was always lower than the federal estate tax exemption. So that was always our focus. It's still our focus with the new law. If you have any questions, please leave a comment on our comment section. Please subscribe to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. And feel free to call us for a free consultation at 630-324-6666. Thanks so much for listening.
Thanks so much for watching our video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Click the subscribe button for new videos every week, and download and review us on iTunes. Visit learn-about-law.com for other legal-related articles and videos. Visit our business podcast and video blog, seizeyourbusiness.com, and visit Making Real Estate Fun for real estate videos and podcasts. Call us at 630-324-6666 for a free consultation.